So Paula Reid joins us now from the White House. So Paula, we're just going to get right into it. You making the acting attorney general really hot under the collar with some of the questions you asked yesterday. Let's play a little of that sound in case people missed it.
Is there anything that you've seen or read that gives you concern about Special Counsel Robert Mueller or his investigation?
Right now, the investigation is, I think, close to being completed, and I hope that we can get the report from Director Mueller as soon as possible.
All right, there was like a record scratch after he said that, right? Like everyone was like, what did he just say? So he definitely looked a little uncomfortable up there, and I'm not sure if he was starting to consider his words, but how seriously should we take what Whitaker said?
Well, this was his first press conference, and I think he was a little nervous and perhaps said more than he expected to. And now there was some skepticism, too, about whether Whitaker just said this to appease the president. Right now, he's considering his next job. As soon as William Barr is confirmed, he'll be out of a job looking for his next one. So there's some people said, look, he just said this to make the president feel better. But I talked with some other sources, and they confirmed that Whitaker has been briefed and that his timeline appears to them to be accurate. There's also some clues in the public record that suggest that the investigation may be wrapping up. For example, if you look at the Roger Stone case, court documents show that the special counsel has added Justice Department prosecutors, people who don't work for Robert Mueller. They've added them on the Stone case from the outset. And that's significant because we've never seen that before. And it would also make it a lot easier to just hand the Stone case off once the special counsel investigation wraps up.
So, Paula, before we move on to Roger Stone, just real quick, do you think, and I know it's tough when you're in front of the camera for the very first time, and you've got a lot of people hinging on, on every single word that you deliver from that podium, but was it a rookie mistake, or did the acting attorney general plan on making some news there?
It does not appear that he intended to make that news, as I understand it. There are always rehearsed answers that you have. That's what I expected to get. I do think he got a little bit lost in his thoughts. It is my understanding, based on conversations I've had with people in the Justice Department, that there was no intention to blow the news cycle wide open with that comment.
Okay, so let's talk about Roger Stone. He's going to be in court today around 11 o'clock. The indictment accuses him of coordinating Democratic email dumps with WikiLeaks. And there's a little portion of that indictment where they talk about a senior campaign advisor being, what's the word? It's not being directed.
Directed by a senior campaign.
Right. So I asked, and there's a lot of speculation as to, well, who's directing this senior campaign advisor? Who's more senior than a senior, right? How concerned should President Trump be about these new allegations?
Well, the White House has tried to distance themselves from the Stone indictment, trying to say, look, he wasn't on the campaign. This has nothing to do with the White House. But the fact is, all of the allegations against Stone have to do with things that happened on the campaign. Specifically, the fact that it is alleged that he was having conversations with senior campaign officials about WikiLeaks, about their possession of potentially damaging information against Secretary Clinton, and their plans to release it. It's also alleged that, again, as you said, senior campaign officials were directed to continue to keep in touch with him and keep apprised of these releases. Now, what they were releasing, these were emails that U.S. intelligence believes were stolen by Russian intelligence. So that's why this falls under the special counsel's purview. The president is not named in this. There is no suggestion right now that the president was engaged in a conspiracy, but the Roger Stone indictment does raise questions, as you noted. Who tells senior campaign officials what to do? Who's more senior than a senior campaign official? And the big question is whether or not the president had any knowledge this was going on. Now, I was in the Roosevelt Room with the president on Friday. We were pooled. I was in there a couple feet from him, and I asked him this question. I said, Mr. President, were you aware of what was going on with WikiLeaks? Or were you being updated? He did not answer. He answered other questions about the shutdown. He did not answer my question.
So, Paula, let me ask you about this. Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal and Republican Chuck Grassley, in a stroke of bipartisanship, have introduced a new bill to help make the special counsel's findings public. What's in that bill, and is it likely to gain any support?
Well, I think it will gain support. It already has some bipartisan support, but I don't think Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, I believe he has said that he will not even bring it for a vote. And that's been pretty consistent with any sort of legislation that has been pushed forward to either protect the special counsel, his ability to do his job. But now the theater has sort of shifted, and the focus, the battle, is over what happens to this report. Under the regulation, Mueller's only requirement, his only job, is to come up with a summary report and hand it off to the Attorney General. And then it's up to the Attorney General how much of that is made public. It's not like the whole thing is just put up on a website. So William Barr has said that he will release some sort of summary if he receives it. If Whitaker is the one who's in office when this report is released, he has not really said specifically how much he will release. But House Democrats have made it clear that anything short of the full report, that will prompt them to use their subpoena power. They will try to subpoena the special counsel. They will subpoena that report. They will do anything they can to make sure that this full report is released. We have to remember a lot of what's in there is going to be confidential. It will be protected. So even when the special counsel wraps up, the one thing we know for sure is that there will be more legal battles ahead for the White House and the special counsel.
All right, Paula Reid for us at the White House. Paula, thank you.